What's up, guys, and happy game day, Bolts and Islanders fans. I promised you guys I was going to address both sides. Sorry it's been a minute since the recording has gotten up. Playing with Storage is a pain in the butt. So Storage was deciding whether or not I was able to record, and that's where I have been for the past couple of games. But moving forward from that, even though we missed game 3 and 4 and 5, we'll just quickly touch base on game 5 as well as game 4. So game 4, we know that Tampa Bay Lightning had a tough loss, 3-2 fail to the Islanders, and there was a scoreless first period. The Islanders completely dominated second period. Lightning bounced back third period, but it was just not enough time on the clock for them to make a full comeback. With that said, if we know nothing about the Tampa Bay Lightning team, is that when they lose with a bad taste in their mouth, when they lose when they were this close to having that opportunity to win, their bounce back is quite strong. And if not only strong, but it's very dominant, it's very apparent, and they don't just play well. They display their skills, their skilled players, and how strong this team really is. Now, even though I just said a mouthful of amazing things about the Tampa Bay Lightning, I'm not over-exaggerating, because the way that they decided to bounce back was with an 8-0 victory, game 5 here at Amalie Arena. You heard me correctly. If you missed that game, yes, it was 8 goals. And then Vasi completely shut down the New York Islanders. And more importantly, you don't see those kind of scores in postseasons. You don't see that in playoffs. Even if somebody was to play a high-scoring game, it's usually both teams getting a decent amount of pucks in the net. But, I mean, to have a shutout and then it be 8-0 is just completely insane. Was it an exciting game to watch? If you were a Lightning fan, absolutely. New York Islander fans, on the other hand, not so much fun, especially because the best thing was catching footage of Islander fans ripping off their jerseys, throwing them on the ground, and leaving the arena. I mean, they were absolutely done. Now, we know this has to be a tough position for the Islander fans to be in, because it was the Tampa Bay Lightning that they faced off with in the Eastern Conference Finals in the bubble, and it was the Tampa Bay Lightning that shut down their dreams of going to the Stanley Cup, and that was only a year ago. So fresh feelings of pain and anguish are still going to be quite relevant. Other than the 8-0 dominating game 5 that the Tampa Bay Lightning put on here at Amalie Arena, let's break down that game just a little bit further. It was 45 seconds into the first period that Captain put the Tampa Bay Lightning on the board, and there's been a lot of speculation if he's playing through any sort of injury, or if he's been holding back, or if he's been trying to push through. Now, he said that he didn't want to get into all of that, which is respectful, because I wouldn't want to talk injuries if I'm in the middle of trying to push through and make it to a Stanley Cup final as well. But I think that was just kind of fire for him to show, hey, I was out last season. I didn't like that. I can contribute to this team whether I'm on the sideline or on the ice, but I'd rather be on the ice. So it was amazing to see Stammer open up on the scoreboard and get the Bolts ahead nice and early in that game. Now, if there's nothing else besides the fact that the Tampa Bay Lightning do not like tough losses, it doesn't leave a good taste in their mouth. Something else that they are consistent at is momentum shifts. When they get on the board first, there's usually a surge of momentum that the guys do very well at backing up. Another thing is that, say they were battling the entire first period, they get into the second period, and they're trying to come back. That's another momentum shift surge opportunity the Tampa Bay Lightning are pretty good at taking advantage of and starting to get pucks in the back of the net and tally up on that scoreboard. But it was just the fact that they completely controlled this entire game. It wasn't just a strong first period, even though I'm pretty sure it was like 3-0 in the first period alone. It was the fact that they played a solid, dominating 60 minutes of hockey, hence the results of an 8-0 victory. So I mentioned the fact that Stammer got on the board first, which was fantastic, but that was one of his 2 goals for the night. It was also Alex Killorn that had 2 of those 8 goals for the night, and then Yanni Gourde and Luke Schenn. Now, I kind of made this point a couple weeks ago, but I'm going to reiterate it now because if anything, game 5 just validated my thought process on it. But for me personally, my personal opinion, and I would love to hear you guys' feedback, I've noticed that when the Tampa Bay Lightning's defense is most involved, not just playing a defensive game, but stepping up, playing forward, pushing the puck up, and playing an offensive defensive game, this team is quite unstoppable. When they get into those high slot areas, they create so much more opportunities for their wingers and forwards, not just to get pucks in the net, but to play a very skillful game. They are more in control to speed the game up, slow the game down. So when that blue line is in control of the Tampa Bay Lightning and those defensemen are holding it down, this team is a force to be reckoned with. And again, game 5 was just kind of more than a glimpse at that. Now, Stemming off of that, who stood out to me the most when I speak of an offensive defenseman? No, not Eric Chernak. No, not the best in the league, Victor Hedman. It was David Savard that you saw a lot of great opportunities being created. He was pushing that puck forward. He was ripping the shot. He had 2 assists. But aside from the 2 assists, I'm almost convinced that at least one of those 2 assists, if nobody else's stick touched that puck, it was going in. He was ripping some great shots from the blue line. And that's something that if we see more of than this next, tonight's game, the Islanders are going to be in trouble. If the Lightning move forward, that next team is going to be in trouble because now we almost have every defensive man on this roster playing an offensive defensive position, which is just putting the Tampa Bay Lightning in the best position possible to not only win out, but to control these games. So hats off to David Savard for just, being that much more present on the blue line as well as an offensive position. Even Coach Cooper was mentioning the fact that he's so much more recognized for being a physical guy, but he thinks it's more the fact that Savard is getting that much more comfortable and confident in this structure. And if you think about the timeline of when he was traded to this team, how quickly he had to get acclimated, and then just a short few weeks later, he was dealing with an injury on the upper body that he had to push through just to get back on the ice and contribute to this team. So it's great to see him finding his footing. It also made it that much more heartwarming because if you guys don't recall, the last recording I did, I'm pretty sure it was the last recording, I was mentioning the fact that what I missed most about the previous Tampa Bay Lightning roster was the fact that we had so much depth on defense, and those defensive players contributed in clutch moments, and those are the moments that help secure those wins and increase those leads. So missing guys like Shattenkirk, Bogosian, Coburn, to start seeing this defense finding a way to measure up to what they had last year. That team won a Stanley Cup, and this team is making the progressions to win another Stanley Cup. I wouldn't be surprised to see Lord Stanley moving down the river right back here in the backyard within the next couple of weeks. So I definitely want you guys' feedback and opinions on that. What do you think happens? Do you think the Tampa Bay Lightning is that much more dominant when their defense is playing an offensive game? And I had an opportunity to ask Victor Hedman this yesterday in press conferences, what he thought about David Savard's contribution, how much more he's been getting comfortable and confident in his role on this roster, as well as the significance that the defense had in the Game 5 victory. Here's Victor Hedman's opinion on the offensive defensive structure.
Yeah, I think we like to play 5 guys and all 5 guys on defense, and our D is built to transport the puck. We're looking to give it to the forwards when we can, and get up in the plays. And Savvy's been he's obviously very well known for his defensive part of the game, but he's shown that he can contribute offensively too. 2 great shots yesterday and 2 deflections, and you need that depth scoring, and I think that's huge. And I think, especially in the first period yesterday, it showed, Killer, Stammer, and, Gordo getting the goals. And, you focus a lot on, obviously, Cooch, Pally, and Pointer. But, we showed that all 4 lines can score goals and play good defensively. So that's a good thing to have as a team. And we as D get involved as well. It's good things going to happen. So just look forward to bringing that once again tomorrow.
And as Victor said, they look forward to bringing that once again. He says tomorrow, but tomorrow is now tonight. Now, also, something else to pay attention to is that as much as the Tampa Bay Lightning do well with momentum shifts and surges, as well as they make those comebacks after tough losses, something else that they're pretty consistent at is back-to-back wins after losses. So I know that all of my predictions have been in favor of the Tampa Bay Lightning. That hasn't been a biased situation. If you pay attention to how often I've recorded, it does make sense. So it's not like I've said every single game they're going to win, because I am a realist when it comes to these games and predictions. But when it comes to the statistics of the fact that they win back-to-back, they come off of momentum surges, and they really do have the ability to be consistent in those opportunities. I am taking the Lightning to close out the series tonight. Coach mentioned previously that, that tough loss that they had 3-2 in Game 4, it hit harder for them because they really wanted to come home and close out the series for Game 5. They didn't want to have to go back up to Long Island and fight and play in a desperate game, and that's the position that they are now in. But the defense, I expect them to continue to stay involved, because I think they were a huge asset to, again, letting the forwards and the wingers let their hair down and just play a skilled game. They played more north according to Yanni Gord, he said when we play more north, we're able to display our skill set that much more. And when we're playing a skill game, the opportunity is in our hands. And I completely agree with Yanni on that one. Someone else that stuck out to me in Game 5 was the fact that Ross Colton was really all over the ice. We have talked about the fact that the Tampa Bay Lightning are one of the few rosters, if not the only roster, that has 4 dominating lines. All 4 of these lines can contribute in their own way, form, and fashion, which help these guys, have amazing dominant games like they did for Game 5. So a quick touch on Ross Colton was the fact that he does really well at keeping the puck in play. He does really well at collecting the rebound and not allowing it to cross the blue line where they have to completely reset to push back up the ice. And that is something where when the Lightning are controlling rebounds, when they're keeping that puck in play and they're firing off and getting shots on goal, I mean, they almost doubled the amount of shots on goal. If not, actually, they doubled the amount of shots on goal over the New York Islanders. And that's another way for them to completely control the game and force the other team to play within their structure and within their pace. So Ross Colton did a great job of doing that in Game 5. Pat Maroon is Pat Maroon. Whenever he wants to blow these guys against the boards and cause turnovers, he has the ability to do so. And that was something else that helped the Lightning completely own Game 5 was the fact that they were creating turnovers. They were getting in the passing lane. The Islanders had no chance to even get their feet underneath them. They had no opportunity to set up any plays or to even get in any kind of flow or structure. Will the Lightning be able to be as dominant as Game 5? You never know. Between flying, between going up there, between them being at the Coliseum with the Islander fans, they do thrive on the road. I mean, they've had some of their best performances of the season on the road, and we've seen them create opportunities to win in the Coliseum. So more importantly, we're going to be playing against a desperate Islanders team tonight. But I think the hunger of closing out the series might be that much more of a token to pull off the W tonight. So let me know you guys' thoughts as well as you guys' predictions. I clearly don't see an 8-0 victory just because that's a rare performance to see in playoffs, especially this far along. We're in the final series before the Stanley Cup Finals. But I do see the Lightning pulling it off with a 3-2 or a 4-2 victory. I know the Islanders are going to fight to get on the board, more importantly, early out the gate. So that first period is going to be extremely important for both of these teams. But if the Lightning can play 60 minutes of hockey, I just really see it going that way. If the defense can continue to contribute, I see it going that way. Something I didn't touch base on was the fact that it was kind of a last-minute call. Erik Turnek was pushing through an upper body injury, and in warm-ups, he just realized that he didn't want to overdo it. So Luke Schenn actually ended up going in for him and contributing by getting a goal. We've seen Luke Schenn contribute offensively. We've seen him be such a muscle out there on the ice. What I really do appreciate about Luke Schenn is that he's all about making the most when his number is called, and he does that. Anytime that Schenn ends up hitting the ice and suiting up, we've seen him make an impact. What I love is that he is so physical out there, so he is somebody who can wear down the opposing team as well as push the puck forward and create opportunities for either goals for himself or goals for his teammates. So not sure yet if Schenn will be back in the lineup this evening. We know that there was an issue with Jan Rutta. We don't know what the status is on him, whether he'll be suiting up tonight or not after being cross-checked by Matt Barzal. And Matt Barzal was fine for that cross-check because it seemed more temperamental than just being in play. And then not much of an update with Erik Turnek, but if he's feeling good to go, then he will be sitting up. If not, then we'll see what goes on there. So we'll find out lineup changes later on. We've got morning skate coming up here shortly. We're going to have an opportunity to ask coach as well as the players if any changes are coming about this evening. But one final thing was also that we did get Coach Cooper's opinion on his defense playing an offensive structure, and this is what Coach Cooper had to say yesterday.
As for the offense on the D side of things, it was just a matter of time. I think it's not like we were a top 5 team in the league in defensive scoring, but we were a little above middle of the pack. And for us not to have goals from the guys was probably, it had to stock correct at some point, and it finally has. But again, you go longer in these series, you got to poke holes in systems, and we're trying to poke holes in theirs, they're trying to poke holes in ours, and one of them is definitely getting our D more involved, and it's been working out.
Absolutely. Like I said, the more that the D is involved, the more control that the Lightning have over the opposing teams. And I think it also helps with that poking holes in people's structure. You don't really expect the defense to have such a strong jump coming out the gate, and that can really throw off the opposing team. So don't forget, let me know your score predictions for tonight. If you didn't let me know your series prediction, even though, it's kind of kind of a give, but we're never going to jump the gun. Go ahead and let me know your series predictions. Drop a comment below, shoot me a DM or a message. Don't forget to follow us above, like, comment, and share on TikTok, YouTube, Instagram, as well as Twitter. I live tweet throughout the entire game, so you can always chat with me. Let me know your comments, concerns, opinions, whether you're loving the game, hating the game, what's going on, as well as your prediction for tonight's game. Let me know what your score prediction is, who you think is going to take the W tonight, and also who's getting on the board first. That's actually been a bit of a fun game because it's switched up a bit. The first periods have been extremely hard to score in, or teams have just completely let off the gas in the first period, and then we wonder what the comeback is going to look like in the second period. So let me know who's getting on the board first tonight, and what do you think the score is going to be? Did the Tampa Bay Lightning wrap up the series and start getting their mind ready and right for Stanley Cup Finals, or do the New York Islanders pull off a series tie-up, and then do we move to a Game 7? Let me know you guys' thoughts. Don't forget to comment below, send me a message, follow, like, subscribe, share on all social media platforms. I'm so glad I was able to hop on and work through that storage issue. And I'll catch up with you guys after Game 5. Adios.